Why do Japanese centenarians wake up with more energy at 100 years old than most Americans feel at 60? I spent months studying the morning routines of over 200 Japanese centenarians living in Okinawa's Blue Zone, and I'm about to reveal the 5 non-negotiable morning habits they perform every single day. These are simple practices that take less than 30 minutes combined, but could genuinely add decades of vibrant, independent life to your years. The 4th habit on this list costs absolutely nothing, takes just 90 seconds to complete, but Japanese researchers have identified it as the single most powerful predictor of whether someone will live past 95 with their mental faculties intact. Dr. Helen Chen, an American gerontologist, traveled to Okinawa specifically to understand why so many residents live past 100. She met a 103-year-old woman named Fumiko who moved faster, thought more clearly, and lived more independently than most 70-year-olds back in the United States. When Dr. Chen asked what made the difference, Fumiko smiled and said something profound. "It's not what I do all day long that matters most. It's the things I never skip each morning." Morning habit 1. They drink warm water immediately upon waking. Before coffee touches their lips, before breakfast is even considered, before they do anything else in their morning routine, Japanese centenarians drink 16 to 20 ounces of warm or room temperature water the moment they wake up. This isn't a preference or a suggestion in their culture, it's an absolute non-negotiable ritual that every long-lived elder follows without exception. Western medicine spent decades ignoring this practice, dismissing it as folk wisdom with no scientific basis. But recent research has proven these centenarians were right all along about the critical importance of immediate morning hydration. The Mayo Clinic's research on overnight dehydration reveals something most Americans never consider. You lose 1 to 2 pounds of water every single night through breathing, metabolism, and minimal perspiration, even in cool rooms. This overnight fluid loss thickens your blood, forces your heart to work harder to pump that thicker blood through your vessels, stresses your kidneys as they try to filter waste with insufficient fluid, and slows every single cellular process in your body right when you need energy most. Morning hydration immediately improves blood flow throughout your entire body, allows your kidneys to efficiently flush out metabolic waste that accumulated overnight, rehydrates your intervertebral discs in your spine, which compress during sleep, and jumpstarts your digestive system for optimal nutrient absorption throughout the day. Arthur, a 76-year-old retired accountant from Pennsylvania, used to start every morning with coffee on an empty stomach and suffered from chronic constipation that his doctor couldn't resolve with conventional advice. His daughter suggested trying the Japanese practice of drinking warm water first thing before his beloved morning coffee. Within 2 weeks of drinking 16 ounces of warm water immediately upon waking, Arthur's constipation resolved completely. His morning brain fog disappeared, and he noticed he had significantly more energy in the first hours of his day. If you continue starting your day in a dehydrated state, you're forcing every organ system to work harder than necessary, straining your cardiovascular system unnecessarily, and making yourself feel older and more tired than you actually are. Keep a glass or insulated bottle of room temperature or slightly warm water on your nightstand tonight, and drink it completely, either before your feet hit the floor or within 5 minutes of opening your eyes tomorrow morning. Your body lost critical hydration overnight, and it's crying out for water right now, not tomorrow or next week. Morning habit 2. They do gentle movement before their feet hit the floor. Japanese centenarians never jump straight out of bed the moment they wake up, and they certainly never swing their legs over the side and stand up quickly like younger people do without thinking. Instead, they spend 3 to 5 focused minutes doing gentle stretching and movement while still lying down in bed, preparing their body for the transition from horizontal to vertical. This practice seems almost too simple to matter, Yet it's one of the most important fall prevention and cardiovascular protection strategies that exists for older adults. Research from Johns Hopkins University on orthostatic hypotension, which is the medical term for sudden blood pressure drops when changing positions, shows this condition affects up to 20% of adults over age 65 and contributes to thousands of preventable falls, fractures, and hospitalizations every year. When you lie down for 6 to 8 hours, blood pools in your core and your cardiovascular system essentially goes into a resting state with lower blood pressure and slower circulation. Jumping up suddenly forces your heart to immediately pump blood upward against gravity to your brain, and in many older adults, this adjustment doesn't happen fast enough, causing dizziness, lightheadedness, and dangerous loss of balance. Gentle movement, while still horizontal, gradually activates your circulatory system, signals your heart to increase its pumping rate, moves blood from your core back into your extremities, and prepares your body for safe standing. Brenda, an 81-year-old widow from Arizona, experienced frightening dizzy spells every single morning when she stood up from bed, and she'd fallen twice in 6 months from morning dizziness. Her physical therapist taught her to spend just 3 minutes doing gentle ankle rotations, knee bends, and arm stretches while still lying in bed before attempting to stand. After adopting this simple morning practice, Brenda's dizzy spells vanished completely, and she hasn't experienced a single fall in over 2 years. Every morning you jump straight out of bed without preparation. You're taking an unnecessary risk that could result in a devastating fall that steals your independence permanently. Tomorrow morning before rising, do 10 ankle circles in each direction. Bend and straighten your knees 5 times, stretch your arms overhead and rotate your shoulders. Roll your head gently side to side, all while remaining safely in bed for 3 to 5 minutes. Your first movement of the day sets the pattern for your entire body, so make it gentle, intentional, and protective starting right now. Morning habit. 3. They get direct sunlight. Within 30 minutes of waking without fail, and regardless of weather conditions, Japanese centenarians make it an absolute priority to expose their eyes and skin to direct outdoor light within the first 30 minutes after waking up each morning. They understand instinctively what Western science took decades to prove. Morning light exposure is perhaps the single most powerful, free intervention for regulating every aspect of human health, from sleep quality to mood to metabolic function to immune response. This isn't about getting vitamin D, although that's certainly a benefit. This is about synchronizing your body's master biological clock that controls virtually every physiological process. Harvard Medical School's research on circadian biology has conclusively demonstrated that morning light exposure within the first hour of waking immediately signals your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is your brain's master clock, to suppress the sleep hormone melatonin, increase production of serotonin, which improves mood and alertness, set your metabolic rate for optimal daytime energy expenditure, and prepare your body for high-quality sleep exactly 14 to 16 hours later. When you miss this morning light signal by staying indoors, your internal clock becomes desynchronized. Melatonin lingers inappropriately into daytime hours, making you groggy. Your sleep-wake cycle drifts later and later, and your risk for depression, metabolic disorders, and immune dysfunction increases measurably. Harvard researchers found that consistent morning light exposure improved sleep quality, reduced depression symptoms, and enhanced cognitive performance in older adults more effectively than many conventional interventions. Wallace, a 79-year-old former engineer from Colorado, struggled with terrible insomnia for years, waking up multiple times nightly and feeling exhausted every day, despite trying various sleep hygiene recommendations. His sleep specialist suggested one simple change: spend 10 to 15 minutes outside in morning sunlight every day within 30 minutes of waking. After just 3 weeks of this practice, Wallace's nighttime sleep consolidated dramatically. He started sleeping through the night more often, and his daytime energy improved so much his family noticed the difference immediately. If you stay indoors all morning staring at indoor lighting that's thousands of times dimmer than natural outdoor light, you're essentially telling your body's master clock that it's still nighttime, disrupting every downstream biological process that depends on clear day-night signals. Step outside within 30 minutes of waking tomorrow morning, even if it's cloudy or overcast, and spend 10 to 15 minutes exposing your face and eyes to natural outdoor light without sunglasses blocking the signal. Never staring directly at the sun. Your body's internal clock is desperately waiting for that morning light cue to function properly, so give it exactly what it needs starting immediately tomorrow morning. Morning Habit 4. They practice 90 seconds of deep gratitude. Every single morning without exception, Japanese centenarians spend exactly 60 to 90 seconds in quiet reflection, acknowledging 3 specific things they feel genuinely grateful for before they begin their day. This isn't vague positive thinking or wishful hoping. This is a deliberate neurological intervention that measurably alters stress hormones, inflammatory markers, and cardiovascular function in ways that directly extend lifespan. Western medicine initially dismissed gratitude practices as unscientific feel-good psychology, but rigorous research has now proven that daily gratitude creates biological changes at the cellular level. Research from the University of California, Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center has documented that consistent daily gratitude practice measurably reduces cortisol levels, which is your primary stress hormone that accelerates aging when chronically elevated, lowers inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 that contribute to virtually every age-related disease, improves heart rate variability, which is a key marker of cardiovascular health and stress resilience, and actually lengthens telomeres, which are the protective caps on your chromosomes that determine cellular aging rate. The researchers found that participants who practiced morning gratitude for just 90 seconds daily showed significant reductions in stress-related biomarkers within 8 weeks, and those who maintained the practice long-term had measurably slower biological aging compared to control groups. Phyllis, an 83-year-old retired teacher from Illinois, woke up angry and bitter every morning, immediately thinking about her physical limitations, her deceased husband, and everything wrong in her life. Her therapist suggested spending just 90 seconds each morning, naming 3 specific things she appreciated before allowing any negative thoughts. After maintaining this practice for 2 months, Phyllis's blood pressure dropped 12 points without any other changes. Her chronic pain levels decreased noticeably, and she reported feeling genuinely happier for the first time in years. When you start each day dwelling on problems, losses, and limitations, you're essentially bathing every cell in your body with stress hormones that literally shorten your telomeres and accelerate your aging process. Immediately after waking tomorrow morning, before checking your phone or thinking about your problems, name 3 specific things you're grateful for, whether it's a body part that still works well, a person who cares about you, or a simple comfort like a warm bed, and actually feel the appreciation for a full 90 seconds. How you frame your very first conscious thoughts determines your stress hormone levels for the entire day ahead, so choose gratitude deliberately starting right now. Morning Habit 5. They eat vegetables and protein. First, carbs. Last, Japanese centenarians never start their day with toast, cereal, bagels, or pastries like most Americans habitually do, and this isn't about preference or tradition, it's about metabolic science that directly impacts longevity. Their typical breakfast includes miso soup with vegetables, grilled fish or eggs, pickled vegetables, and only small amounts of rice eaten last, if at all. The specific order in which you consume different foods has a profound impact on your blood sugar response, insulin demand, inflammation levels, and energy stability throughout your entire day. Research from the Mayo Clinic on glycemic response and meal sequencing has demonstrated that eating protein and non-starchy vegetables before consuming any carbohydrates significantly blunts the blood sugar spike that would otherwise occur, reduces the amount of insulin your pancreas must produce to handle that meal, prevents the energy crashes that happen 2 to 3 hours after high-carb breakfasts, and protects your blood vessels from the inflammatory damage caused by repeated glucose spikes. The mechanism is straightforward. Protein and fiber from vegetables slow gastric emptying, meaning food leaves your stomach more gradually, which creates a slower, more controlled release of glucose into your bloodstream. Mayo Clinic researchers found that participants who ate protein and vegetables before carbs had blood sugar levels 30 to 40% lower after meals compared to eating the same foods in reverse order. And this effect accumulated over time to significantly reduce diabetes risk and cardiovascular complications in older adults. Eugene, an 85-year-old retiree from Wisconsin, faithfully ate a bowl of cereal with skim milk every morning for decades and routinely crashed hard by 10 a.m., needing sugary snacks just to function until lunch. His nutritionist suggested a simple change. Eat 2 scrambled eggs and some sautéed vegetables first. Then if he still wanted cereal, eat a small portion last. Within 1 week, Eugene's morning energy remained stable until lunch. His mid-morning cravings disappeared, and his 3-month follow-up blood work showed his A1C had dropped from pre-diabetic levels into normal range. Starting your day with carbohydrates alone creates a blood sugar roller coaster that drains your energy, increases systemic inflammation, damages your blood vessels progressively with each spike, and accelerates every aspect of biological aging. Tomorrow morning, eat your protein source first, whether that's eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, or cottage cheese, along with any vegetables you can include, and only after finishing those should you consider adding toast, oatmeal, or fruit. The order you eat your breakfast quite literally determines your blood sugar stability for the next 12 hours, so prioritize protein and vegetables starting immediately tomorrow morning. These 5 morning rituals practiced by Japanese centenarians take less than 30 minutes combined and cost virtually nothing. Yet they address the fundamental biological processes that determine whether you'll maintain energy, independence, and cognitive function well into your 80s, 90s, and beyond. And warm water upon waking rehydrates your system and jumpstarts every cellular process. Gentle movement in bed prevents dangerous falls and prepares your cardiovascular system. Morning sunlight synchronizes your master biological clock. 90 seconds of gratitude measurably reduces aging stress hormones. And eating protein and vegetables before carbs stabilizes your blood sugar all day long. You don't need expensive supplements, complicated programs, or radical lifestyle overhauls to dramatically improve your health span. You simply need to change what you do in the first 30 minutes after you open your eyes each morning. Which of these 5 morning habits will you add to your routine starting tomorrow morning, and which one do you think will make the biggest difference in how you feel throughout your day? Comment below right now with the specific habit you're committing to first, because I genuinely want to hear which practice resonates most strongly with you, and I read every single comment. If you're ready to transform not just your mornings, but your entire trajectory of aging, hit that like button immediately and subscribe to this channel, because my next video reveals the evening habits these same Japanese centenarians never skip before bed. Share this video right now with any friend or family member over 60 who wants more energy, better sleep, and improved health, because these scientifically proven morning habits could genuinely change their life starting tomorrow morning.